TomoNews presents White House Security.
The Beast gets an upgrade for Trump's inauguration. When he becomes President of the United States, Donald Trump will travel in an upgraded version of the Cadillac-branded limousine used by current President Barack Obama. According to Awww, the new presidential state car is expected to sport the looks of a Cadillac Escalade sedan. Known as Cadillac One, or by the Secret Service as the Beast, it will use a Kodiak medium-duty truck frame with custom-made body panels. The 7-seat interior is sealed to protect against a biological or chemical attack, with windows that can withstand armor-piercing bullets. The current edition of the Beast has 20-centimeter thick, heavy armor-plated doors and a reinforced steel plate running underneath the vehicle to protect it from roadside bombs. The presidential limousine has tear gas cannons and a night vision camera, as well as a pump-action shotgun. Extra weapons, an oxygen supply, and bottles of the president's blood type are also on board. The fuel tank is armor-plated and encased in foam to prevent it from exploding. The Kevlar-reinforced tires are puncture and shard resistant, with steel rims that allow the car to continue driving even if the tires are destroyed. The vehicle bears the American flag and the presidential standard while traveling domestically. When abroad, the presidential standard is replaced by that country's flag. The Beast will reveal its upgraded look on January 20th as it welcomes the 45th President Donald Trump at the 2017 inauguration.
Secret Service agent was preoccupied while Gonzales intruded into the White House. A review from the Department of Homeland Security points out how mistakes made by Secret Service officers actually helped 42-year-old Omar Gonzales intrude into the White House 2 months ago. Iraq war veteran Omar Gonzales managed to break into the White House's North Portico on September 19th after a series of catastrophic security blunders. Gonzales was first spotted by officers on Pennsylvania Avenue climbing over the fence at 7:19 p.m. As the Secret Service officer stationed on the North Lawn was talking on his cell phone without monitoring the radio, he failed to detect Gonzales until well after the chase was underway. 2 officers approached Gonzales with guns drawn, but he lost them in the hedges in front of the North Portico. Another officer also followed, but came up short. One officer took cover behind a pillar, pointing his gun at Gonzales, who was climbing the stairs to the North Portico door, but didn't shoot as he thought the man was unarmed. Gonzales was later found carrying a knife. The door to the North Portico was unlocked and the alarm was disarmed, letting Gonzales force himself in with no fanfare, even as one officer was trying to secure the area. That officer tried to subdue him, mistaking her flashlight for her baton. She finally pulled out her gun, however Gonzales ignored her. He then passed the entrance hall and made it into the East Room. Once he reached the doorway leading into the Green Room, he was tackled by another officer. Some 800 rounds of ammunition, a machete, and 2 hatchets were later found in Omar Gonzales' car. The review also finds the Secret Service underestimated the potential threat of the intruder, as shown by the investigation of 2 prior incidents, including his arrest on gun charges in Virginia in July. In that case, a map of Washington, D.C. with a line drawn pointing to the White House was found. And 1 month later, he was stopped near the south fence of the White House with a hatchet in his waistband. But he was later released when authorities failed to find any other weapons in his car after the search.
Armed man jumps White House fences and makes it past the front door. A 42-year-old man was arrested on Friday evening in Washington, D.C. after jumping the White House fences and making it past the front door. The man, carrying a folding knife, climbed over the fences along Pennsylvania Avenue. He then ran to the North Portico entrance, a distance of about 70 yards, turned the door's brass knob, and stepped in the White House vestibule. There, an officer standing post stopped and subdued him. A second man was arrested on Saturday for trespassing at the White House. He approached the gates on foot but returned with his vehicle after being sent away by security.
Another man jumps the White House fence and is taken down by Secret Service K-9 units. A second intruder in a month tried to enter the White House on Wednesday evening, but was quickly taken down by Secret Service Uniform Division K-9 units and arrested. A man entered the White House North Lawn yesterday after scaling the lawn's iron fence, which measures roughly 7 feet and 6 inches tall. Video footage showed the intruder was a man wearing a dark, long-sleeved shirt and long white shorts. NBC News reported the man made it roughly 20 yards past the fence before he was attacked by canine units, which he punched and kicked. Secret Service officers soon surrounded the man to arrest him. Reuters reported that the White House was on lockdown for about 90 minutes after the incident. The incident comes only a few weeks after another intruder, 42-year-old Omar Gonzales, made it all the way into the executive mansion while armed with a serrated knife. White House intruder made it farther inside the building than initially reported. The man who broke into the White House earlier this month reportedly made it through the front entrance and went as far as the East Room, which is normally used for press conferences and award presentations. The White House intruder, Omar Gonzales, reportedly entered the entrance hall and went past the guard due to a muted alarm. He then went past the stairway, which leads to the first family's living quarters, and made it into the East Room. Gonzales reached the doorway leading to the Green Room, where he was tackled by an agent. The Washington Post reported that the alarm boxes were muted because the White House usher's staff complained that they were noisy.
3 U.S. Secret Service agents sent home after wild night out. A trio of U.S. Secret Service agents were sent home from Amsterdam after one of them was reportedly found lying unconscious, sprawled along a hotel corridor after a heavy night of drinking and partying. The Washington Post reported that the trio belonged to the elite counter-assault team, which is responsible for protecting the president when he's attacked. They were sent to the Netherlands ahead of President Obama's scheduled visit on March 24th. After the agents reportedly drank like fish, one of them was found sleeping in a hotel hallway after having passed out by a staff member. Hotel management informed the U.S. Embassy of the drunken government employee's antics, who then, in turn, reported the incident to the agent's superior officers. The Secret Service confirmed that all three have since been benched for, quote, disciplinary reasons, but did not elaborate. The agents involved are now on administrative leave. The agency said the president's security was not compromised by the incident.
What would the White House's new 14-foot fence look like? We're already a far cry from the days when the White House fence looked like this, but the Secret Service is now planning on something even bigger to keep intruders out of the 18-acre complex. Security plans proposed by the Secret Service in late April include a 14-foot barrier nearly twice the height of the current White House fence. The iron pickets on the planned fence are expected to be thicker, twice as long as the current fence's pickets, and will be spaced closer together. According to the plan, sensors would be fitted to the back of the picket's sharp finials, and the sensors would be spaced out at 30-foot intervals atop the fence. The Secret Service also told planning commissioners that the new White House fence would include anti-climb and anti-blast features. In light of the recent stream of jumpers that have attempted to break into the compound at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the Secret Service hopes this wall will keep intruders out. But critics of the new fence design believe a balance must be struck between security, historical preservation, and the spirit of democracy, which is no small order. After all, an executive mansion imprisoned within a wrought iron fence doesn't exactly scream freedom and liberty.
2 arrested in White House security breaches. The Secret Service said on Monday that they are investigating 2 White House security breaches that occurred within 24 hours. One suspect was arrested Sunday night after they climbed over a bike rack in front of the White House. The bike rack barriers were installed last year to keep people away from the security fence. Crossing the bike rack is punishable by law. The suspect was taken into custody by Secret Service agents. The second security breach occurred Monday morning when a man attempted to walk through a gate that was opened for someone else who was leaving a secured area. The breaches come less than a month after Joseph Clancy was sworn in as Director of the United States Secret Service.
White House computer system hacked by Russian government. Hackers believed to be associated with the Russian government have intruded into sensitive parts of the White House's computer system. Suspected Russian hackers allegedly first broke into the computer network of the US State Department. They then hacked into the White House system by sending a phishing email using a State Department email account. Once inside, the hackers gained access to sensitive information, such as real-time, non-public details of the president's schedule. Investigators said although the hacking was routed through computers around the world, they found markers that led to the suspicion that the hackers were working for the Russian government. The White House has denied that their classified computer systems were compromised.
White House issues lockdown after spotting drone in no-fly zone. White House officials issued a lockdown Thursday after an unidentified man flew a remote-controlled drone near the north lawn of the White House. A small drone was spotted flying near the White House Thursday afternoon. It was hovering about 100 feet in the air above Lafayette Square. Officials detained a person who was controlling the drone with an iPad and landed it without incident. Several blocks north of the White House were blocked off until officials cleared the device. The drone is a Parrot Bebop, equipped with a small camera and capable of creating its own Wi-Fi hotspot to receive signals from an iPad. Secret Service spokesman Brian Leary said officials turned the unidentified man over to U.S. Park Police. The incident marks the third time this year the White House has issued a lockdown for a device flying within the no-fly zone.
Drunk Secret Service agents crash into White House barricades. Two senior Secret Service agents are being investigated after they allegedly crashed a government car into White House barricades after drinking at a party on March 4th. The two Secret Service agents were reportedly drinking at a bar to celebrate the retirement of a colleague before they ran a government car into the White House barricades. On their way back to the White House, the two agents tried to enter from an entrance that was closed off with security tape due to an investigation into a suspicious package. Witnesses said the agents switched on the overhead emergency lights and showed their badges to try to get through the closed section before they ran their car through the security tape and crashed into the barricade. The two agents have been identified as Mark Connolly, the second-in-command on Obama's security detail, and George Awww, a senior supervisor in the Washington field office of the Secret Service.